If you're looking for an inexpensive wall mount pressure washer solution, then this may be it. This is the brand new G20 from Giraffe Tools electric pressure washer. Now, I reviewed the original Grand Falls pressure washer from Giraffe Tools quite a while ago. Since then, they've come out with, let's see here, they had the Grand Falls, then they had the Grand Falls Plus, then they had the Grand Falls Plus Plus, and then the Pro. This is the latest iteration. This is the G20, and it features a nice new, completely enclosed hose system. And this one comes in right around, at least on their website right now, around 280 bucks. There's a slightly less expensive option that has a different hose, but this one has their gray, more flexible hose, which I think is just, more pleasurable to use. You're not worrying about being all caught up behind you. Now it is on a retractable hose reel, which is awesome. Look, you can just pull it, and this does feature a 65-foot hose, so plenty of reach for whatever you need to do. Let's go ahead and just retract it now. Boom, goes back in. Really, really nice. Now this thing is rated on their website at 2200 PSI, 2.1 GPM. Do I expect to get those numbers? I absolutely do not. This is using a universal motor, which is fantastic, keeps the price down. Again, this is a very inexpensive unit for a wall mount pressure washer. However, 2200 PSI, 2.1 GPM is even the most expensive, even the Krensla doesn't get that of usable pressure, right? You can get those numbers if you're using one or the other, right? If you're working for just pressure or just GPM. We're washing cars and stuff here. We want to be operating typically around 1200 PSI, as close to 2 GPM as possible. Now on their website, they actually do list this thing of a working pressure of 1750 PSI and getting 1.43 GPM. Again, I still don't know if those are the correct numbers. So let's go ahead and jump into exactly what came with this kit. I'm not gonna be installing it on my wall just yet. I wanna make sure that the numbers are good enough for what I need. So we'll be testing this thing. We're gonna be testing the actual usable PSI and usable GPM with the factory nozzles that they give you, along with making some modifications to see if we can optimize it for what we need. Okay guys, so here is the G20 electric pressure washer. Really, really nice and cool enclosed design. Really futuristic looking. Has a little carbon fiber type print on the front here. The retractable hose comes out right here. Big toggle on-off switch right in the front in bright orange so you don't miss that thing. Very, very nice. It does have handles on the side so you can lift it up as needed. And then around the back here, this is an awesome feature. It's a 180-degree swivel bracket, so you can really get this thing completely out of the way if you need to, and just kind of maximize your space as needed. Along the back here, we do have a little bit of a storage piece. This just pops right on, and this will hold your pressure washer wand, and then also a foam cannon. And they actually give you a pretty proper foam cannon. This is the best foam cannon I've ever seen that comes with a pressure washer. But as you can see, you can actually adjust the spray pattern, not the direction of how it sprays, but the pattern, or sorry, the fan adjustment itself. You can do that. It's a smaller bottle. I don't know what exactly this is. Probably a 500 ml bottle, so half the size of a traditional one. But really cool that they give that to you. Fits right back there nicely, along with the pressure washer wand, which is fine. It's nothing to write home about. It's a decent little pressure washer gun. The hose mount is right here off the front, which I do not like because that just puts the hose in front of me and can potentially rub on the car. I prefer if the hose is mounted on the back here, but again, not a big deal. You can always upgrade that down the road. Now, along with that, they do include a little nozzle holder on the extension, which is really cool. And they give you a 0 degree, 15 degree, 25 degree, and a 40 degree nozzle. So very, very nice. Now, the size of the opening, the orifice size, I always say orifice, it's not exactly what it is, but the small opening inside, it lists it here on the side of this thing. Let me see if I can get this to show you. It says 40, which is the degree, 019. So that's a 1.9. That is tiny, guys, tiny. I think that's what the Ryobis ship with too, I think. So we will probably get a decent amount of PSI, but I can't imagine very much GPM or gallons per minute of flow coming through that. So again, we'll try out some other ones to see what we can achieve. Now, along with that, they give you your instruction manual, mounting hardware, so you can actually mount this thing on the wall, and then your leader hose that connects from your water source into the pressure washer itself. Now, as I said, it does have a 65-foot pressure washer hose, fantastic, and the hose seems decent. We'll touch on that in 1 second. Also, the power cord is a GFCI ground fault interrupt outlet here, so you don't have to worry about that. And it is only a 5-foot cord, so keep that in mind. You're just going to want to mount it near an electrical outlet if you can. Now, as far as the hose goes, guys, it's decent, like very, very flexible. Again, this is the upgraded one. And it's not really kinking. It's not, now it's starting to kink. But again, because it's already on a hose reel, you're not going to have that much of an issue with it. It's really more, you know, the cumbersome nature of these hoses is a real pain in the butt. But since this is on an auto retract hose reel, shouldn't be too much of a problem. And then as far as the kinking goes, let's see here, I'll pinch it. Now it's rolling over on itself, but it's not doing a full-blown crease. However, you know, this is what I'll say, guys. It's a decent hose. It's a decent hose, a lot better than some of the other ones that they come with. It's no Uberflex hose, but it's a decent hose. Now this thing says that it is rated for 2,610 PSI. Giraffe Tools, permissible pressure, 140 degrees. So that's it. Let's go ahead, take this thing to the front of the shop, hook it up. We're gonna test the PSI and GPM. Okay guys, now as I said, I'm not going to be mounting this just yet. I want to test it to make sure everything is good first. But I do want to touch on one more point. Again, the unit's here, hose comes right out the front. The connection for your water inlet is on the bottom, nice and flush, right? Where is it? Right here. Okay, so really nice. I like that a lot. It keeps it completely out of the way. That'll stay flush to the wall as well. Really nice design there. All right, guys, now I just unwound the entire hose. One thing to note is that there is a small stop logo on it as you're pulling this thing out. However, at 65 feet, I could barely see that, and I wasn't expecting it, so let's just see. I mean, no issue. Yeah, there was no issue with that at all. Just wanted to make a note of that. I don't know if it makes a difference or not, because it's still rewound or retracted in with no problem. Okay, now I have that set up. I'm going to go ahead and attach the inlet hose. Because the actual connection point is a male threading, we need a female threading. So we are going to be attaching this. Now one side of it has a little filter, the other side does not. I'm going to take the filter side. I believe that's correct. Putting the filter side at the inlet and then connecting the hose to the other side. Okay, so now it's the time to attach our gun here, and I want to be able to use my inline pressure gauge. So I do have to install some quick connects. The good thing about this unit is it does use all M22 by 14 connection points, which is standard, right? You don't have to use any adapter here, no M22 by 15 stuff. This is just very, very easy to use. Again, no adapters, so it just makes your life easier. Okay, everything's all connected, so we're good to go. Now, I don't have to test all of these nozzles because the GPM and PSI are not affected by the angle. They're affected by the little hole that it passes through, and all of these are listed at 1.9. So they're all gonna get the same numbers. So I'm just gonna be using a 40-degree nozzle here for this test. Go ahead and get it attached. Good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the water on first. Let the water start getting through the line, pull the hose, let the air purge out, and then we'll fire it on. All right, so here comes the spray. Just gonna hold it for a little bit, let it purge. Like I said, we may hear a little bit of spurting. It's just the air coming through the line. I don't hear anything, it seems pretty good. Let's go ahead and fire it on. So it does have a total stop system, and it sounds like a very normal pressure washer, similar to like the Ryobi units and things like that. Ooh, bummer. All right, guys, I got a little clogged from the styrofoam, came through the nozzle, so we're gonna switch over and use the 25-degree green nozzle instead. Wow, not bad at all, guys. We're operating at 1,800 PSI. No leaks anywhere. You always wanna make sure you tighten up all your connections well, but no leaks or anything. So far, so good. Let's go ahead and switch out the nozzle to a larger size. We'll try and keep to the 25 degrees, just so you guys, there's no confusion. But let's try and find, I think I have a 2.5 and a 3.0 nozzle. Let's just see what we get with those. Okay, here's a 2.5, 25-degree nozzle. See what we're getting here. So we're about 1,400 PSI there. So we had a drop of 400. Let me see if I have a 3. Okay, and now we have a 3.0 25-degree nozzle. So we'll test that one as well. Here we go. Huh. So what is that, 1,250 to 1,300? That's interesting. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but 1300 is what I'm getting right now with the 3.0. I have a 3.5, let's check that. Okay, 3.5, 25 degrees, let's see. Okay, so we're sitting at 900 PSI with this one. Doesn't feel weak. Feels relatively consistent all the way through the fan pattern. It seems to me that the 3.0 is going to be the right choice, but I think it's a little lofty at 1300. I would assume it'd be more around that 1200 mark, 1100 mark, but I don't know. That's what we're getting. So now let's go ahead and hook it up into a bucket and test the GPM. Actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and check the decibel reading. Usually I'm about 3 feet away and let it run. Let me grab my phone real quick so that we can get the reading on that. Okay, now to get the decibel reading, we're going to take it back to the original 1.9 and test it that way. Now for the ambient noise, we are here. Sort of low to mid 50s. This is the distance I usually am. I'm going to go ahead and point the trigger as far away as I can because we will get noise from that. And here we go. 80 to 81, that's good. That's, again, right on par with all the Ryobi, Greenworks, Craftsman, all that kind of stuff. So with that universal motor, that's about where they sit. And last but not least, let's go ahead and check the voltage reading, or sorry, amperage, to see how many amps it's pulling. I'm only going to check it with the 1.9. As we step up, it'll reduce the amps because it's going to be drawing less power because it's not as restrictive. But here we go. Interesting, so really sitting at about 15.6 amps, which, I don't know, I guess if you're on a 15 amp breaker, that potentially could throw it. Again, I don't know if that's the most optimal number. Let's go ahead and grab another nozzle real quick, and then we'll check the amperage just to be thorough. Let's see here, this is the 3.5. Let's check the amperage with this one and see what it's pulling. Okay guys, this is with the 3.5. So there you go, it topped out at 11.05. So you're going to be operating somewhere between 11 to 15.5 amps, depending on what nozzle you're running with. Okay, now it is time to check the GPM. I'm going to put the nozzle into a bucket, run it for 1 minute. That'll give us our gallons per minute rating of flow through the machine. Okay guys, so we have the 1.9 installed. I have my stopwatch here. We're going to run it for 1 minute, stick it into the bucket, and here we go. All right, that is 1 minute. Let's go ahead and take a look. Spin that around, and then we'll spin it around here. So I was just thinking about it, guys, while I was using the 1.9 orifice. They rated the working pressure at 1750, and I was getting 1800 there. So very impressed with that. They also listed the GPM as 1.43. So let's see. We are at 1 gallon. We're at just above 5 quarts. We're probably at 5 1/4 quarts. And that gets us to 1.312 gallons per minute. So under what they rated, but again, I'm very impressed with we're 1800 PSI, so we're over what they rated for the PSI, a little under on the GPM. 1.3 at 1800 PSI though is nothing to be upset about. That's pretty good. So let's go ahead and go on to the 2.5 orifice nozzle now and test that one. So there's 1 minute, and man, increased the full quart, so we're now at 6.25 quarts. Again, we were running at 1400 PSI there. So 6.25 quarts comes to 1.562 gallons per minute. 1400 at a little over 1.5, guys. These are great numbers. Let's go ahead and go on to the 3.0 orifice. Alrighty. All right, guys, so that was the 3.0 nozzle. I don't know. We're getting the same exact GPM, maybe a slight slight bump, but basically the same thing. So this one was getting 1300 instead of 1400, and basically the same amount of GPM. So I think this 3.0 nozzle is really just, I apparently had two of them. There may be a little bit of a variance between the two. That's why we're getting a little bit of a difference. But sorry, disregard the 3.0. I apparently don't have one with me. We're gonna go to the 3.5 though and see how that works. Okay guys, sorry about that. The camera just stopped recording, but we're back. I just finished running the 3.5 orifice nozzle. And with this one, I know I said we were getting 900 before. I actually was monitoring it as we were doing this. We're really getting 950, so a true 950 PSI out of that. And now let's go ahead and look at the GPMs. And we are up to, and I'm gonna say we're just slightly over 6 3/4 quarts. So we're basically at 1.7 GPM. So 950 PSI, 1.7 GPM. So guys, unfortunately, I don't have that 3.0 orifice, but I think that's gonna be the sweet spot. So there it is again. I'm actually pretty impressed with those numbers. I wasn't expecting that, to be perfectly honest with you. Now again, I think the 3.0 nozzle would be the ideal situation. With all what the other ones we're getting, I'm assuming the 3.0 is probably gonna get us around 1150, 1200 PSI, 11 to 1200 PSI, and probably 1.6-ish GPM, which is really good for this price point of pressure washer. Now, longevity of this thing, I don't know. It's a universal motor, so these typically get about 100 hours of use. They're rated for 100 hours of use. That may be absolutely plenty for you, or if you want something that gets more use than that, you're gonna have to spend quite a bit more. So the fact that this comes with a 65-foot hose, everything you need. Now you can upgrade the pressure washer wand to a stubby one, no problem, because again, it is a M22 by 14 connection point. Put all the quick connects on there and you can really maximize your efficiency with this thing. I'll link a video up here for you guys of all my top 5 pressure washer upgrades that I always recommend. A lot of those are gonna be upgraded hoses and things like that. Obviously with this one, you don't need that because you have the retractable system already. So that's it, guys. I'm pleasantly surprised. Now, full transparency, Giraffe reached out to me to send this to me. So I didn't pay for this unit, but this is a 100% fully transparent, full honest review. You guys saw the numbers. Again, as far as design goes, I like it. The casing is really cool. The outer shell is just plastic. It's nothing crazy, but it looks really good. Why they did that compared to how they did all the other Grand Falls pressure washers, I don't know. Maybe just to keep the sun off of the hose directly, just to help longevity, maybe, I'm not sure. But overall, I really, really like it. Now guys, obviously I didn't review the foam cannon that it comes with, but I'm sure it seems like it's gonna function just the same as any other inexpensive foam cannon would. I still recommend the MJJC Foam Cannon Pro or the SV3. They get the same performance. Those are my favorite ones. I actually import them and sell them now because I like them so much. So I'll link those in the description for you. But it's nice that they include one, and they include one that's an actual proper foam cannon, not just a little foam blaster, but an actual foam cannon. Now the head unit on this thing is full brass, looks really, really good. Standard quick connect, and again, you can adjust the fan spray angle. Little, just regular silicone tube here, or and then just a little mesh filter on the bottom, or little holes in a plastic filter in the bottom. The bottle, again, pretty thin plastic, but it seems like to be a standard thread size. So if you got like the Amazon Basics or whatever, it should plug and play right onto this. This plastic is quite soft onto the brass threads, so be careful when you're using it. I'm afraid that this is going to strip out over time. But again, the fact that they include this, very, very cool. For the price point, I think it gets really good numbers. Is it as good in numbers as an Active 2.0? No, but the Active 2.0 is $350, and then I recommend upgrading all the hoses and stuff on that. So this is a really good price point. Again, with the 3.0 or 3.0 nozzle, you should be getting around 11 to 1200 at 1.6 or so GPM, which is nothing to complain about. It's a decent number. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Please make sure to like the video, make sure you're subscribed, turn on that notification bell, and we will see you on the next one.